Hey there, today I'm starting with the Emberwood. I'm doing a traditional Emberwood rocker, but I have a few exciting new changes. So we're starting just with cutting the ends off here. Go. And we're gonna count to 11. Now this is not perfect. It's 2, 3, 4, 7. Okay, so we're doing 11 inches, and we're getting it approximately on those ends. Go. Here's our piece. Some nice curved ends there. When we flip it over, look at that. Perfect. And that's what we're going for. A nice solid end. We're not going to do the extra ones today. We're actually going to be using a new tool, and I'm pretty excited for it. I am going to be using because this is actually going to be a permanent rocker, I'm going to be using a fun new little brass rivet that I picked up today. And this is a 12 gauge shell. So that's going to sit right there, and it's going to look fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put in a little bit of stitching, and this is going to be a new one for what we're doing here. So I'm excited. And just make sure that I have our rivets for later. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to start here with, let's see, where did I put it? Ah, there it is. Our beveler, we're going to do that on the edges here. Just get a nice clean bevel. You don't want to push too hard or too soft. You just want to get those corners knocked down a little bit. Yeah, that's a nice, smooth bevel. And that cleans up really well on those edges. All right, so the first thing we do after we get our bevel started here, just a little fuzz from something, is we're going to start with our golden mink oil. And just going to give it a nice coat here. Now, mink oil's got a number of purposes, number of things that it does, but I talk about each step as I'm doing it. So if you've heard this before, bear with me. I'm just explaining my process. But what the mink oil does is it softens the inside just a little bit, not a whole lot, enough to give us a little bit of leverage on that inside edge while maintaining the roughness that we're going for. Okay, and we're just smoothing it out a little bit. Making sure the edges are clean here, getting the excess off. And that's one good looking piece with mink oil on it. Go. Right, we're gonna flip it over, and we are going to antique first. So that means I need 2 plies of paper towel. We're folding it over. We're getting it all the way down to a square that is that big. And notice that we're doing mink oil, or we did mink oil first, and then we're going straight here. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm doing this quickly is that I want to get a good smudging first, and that allows me to come back now, and I can wipe over it, and the amount that I used is going to soak in slightly. And that's the goal, is we want this to leave a little bit of residue and give it some layering here. Now I'm coming back out with a little bit more. And we're just kind of trying to get it in there. Okay. And then in a second here, I'm actually going to come in with that light coat of Emberwood. And that's all we need. This is going to actually be a fairly unique looking one. I'm excited to see this. All right, so we got mahogany. The funny thing is I only use 3 dyes. I don't use 47 perfectly done dyes. I just use 3. And that gives me everything I need. Every color combination you can think of is kind of in those 3 wheelhouses. So I use green, which is your army green. I use the saddle tan, and I use mahogany, and that's it. Okay. I'm gonna come out, we're gonna fold this over just slightly. We're getting it out of my hands. Okay, so we're gonna get that nice, deep, yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful rocker. It looks stained, it looks worn. That's kind of the goal we're going with. That's what antiquing does. Just some extra color, we're just pushing in slightly. All right, now I am flipping this out so we can get a little bit more color on it. And you'll see that I'm mostly pulling on this. It's got light areas, dark areas, and that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful mahogany emberwood flavor we got going on. Now it's not as light as some of them, and I did get some dye on my hands, but that's okay. And now we can come in for our brush of Breslin. And Breslin is actually going to bring out the color. It's going to pull out a little bit of the excess. I accidentally got too much there. The reason I'm not using gloves is I ran out of gloves, so that's all right. Yep, there's that red that we were looking for. That red really pops. And that is a beautiful, beautiful piece. All right, that's it. That is going to be our beautiful Emberwood rocker. It is more towards the mahogany end of things, but that's all right. Well, I'll pull out a true Emberwood. We might actually call this mahogany, honestly, because of how deep it got. Let me look for a... Actually, that's not too far off. That's more brown than I was anticipating, but it still looks pretty close. This is, find a mahogany, a true mahogany. I have extras over here. Different ones that I've done. There's mahogany, so you can see the difference in tone. So this, we'll call this Emberwood. This is a, this still is Emberwood. Now for our last point of fun here, we are going to give this a nice edge. This token is really getting in there today. Let's make it look good. Give that a very nice smooth edge that we're going for. Right, and there it is. And again, this is just friction. I'm not going for something crazy. Just enough to there we go. Just enough to get it smoothed over, figured out, and that right there is why we use mink oil first. Some of those deeper things that try to hang out, we can just literally come underneath them and scrape them away and leave foundation without ruining anything. And this is going to be under our new piece here. Klingons there. All right. Just kind of getting that damp, just so that absorbs in there while we burnish it. Just a touch more. For those of you pun lovers out there, this is technically a touch more. All right, there it is. Our piece is finished. As far as stains go, and all this goes off the top a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of extra there. Put our lid on our tokenol, and we have a rocker that is ready. Now, the first thing I want to do is I'm testing this out. So this is going to be new territory for me. This is a 4-hole punch. Now I'm going to find the end here. And actually, I'm going to use this as my line. Okay. Here. I'm just going to punch right out. And we have 4 perfect holes. Now there's a reason I did this. We're going to make this a rocker that does not have, it does not come apart. So we're doing the exact opposite of the last video. And I'm going to put these holes in there, the exact same spot. All right. Rock forward just a touch. These off of there. There we go. And this little punch allows the metal to, or the leather to come up and out these holes, and creates 4 identical holes. I'm actually going to do this the opposite way, and that's going to give me perfect holes on all sides. There we go. And this is going to look like a really nice piece of leather when we're done. I'm actually really excited for this. Now the next part we're going to do is we're going to line up our, it says 12 gauge on it. We're going to line up our holes here. Okay, we're going to put pierce just a little hole right there, and we're going to get our handy dandy hand hole punch. We want to use our smallest one for this so that we get the correct hole. And so we do one through the top, line up, make sure everything is even. Secondary hole, and then come back in through the bottom, or the other side. And that cleans that hole up, gives us a nice spot to go from. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sew this first. So that means I'm actually going to move camera angles for the first time in a video. All right. So for our first business, I've got my saddle horse here, stitching pony, excuse me, saddle horse. And I'm going to do a simple saddle stitch. That's where the saddle came in from. Measuring both ends are the same. So you stick one in. Now I'm going to give better views in the future, but you overlap it, and what you're doing is you're actually creating a knot in the stitch so that it becomes a very tight knot. And having good lined holes and different mechanics for this are optimal, to say the least. And I'm actually gonna do a double stitch all the way through. I am gonna go over both edges. So I'm gonna stick one around this way. And basically this reverses the process and gives me go. We want to make sure those are even on those ends because there are no holes on this. And yes, this is exposed stitching, so we're going to get this nice and tight and having the fact that it's just simply one stitch is good to remember that if you're doing this, you need to make sure that you're not going through this particular set of holes that I'm working with are slightly larger, so it allows to get nice clean knots and to not have any frays or punctures of the thread. We're trying to avoid thread punctures as much as possible. I am doing this for those who are in the leather world and the stitching world. I am doing a saddle stitch, and I am doing this in reverse. So reversing this is a huge, huge deal, because if you don't reverse it, you'll do what I just did and you'll miss the inner loop. And that inner loop allows you to create the knot that these have. So I'm going under on that first one, and then I'm going over on this one, under there and over that. And that gave me a knot. Oh. Now the nice thing is we are going to be stitching this cleanly, so. And if you ever have an issue, kind of like the one I just created, well, this is actually a very good look. Really quickly, this is the first time I get to use this, and I'm gonna reset my camera angle here. All right, so I had accidentally not hit record during the very last part of that, build. So what actually happened is this thing came apart just right for me. So we've got the stud in there. This is our brass stud. We're gonna put our 12 gauge rocker or 12 gauge shotgun shell primer over the end there. So it's 12 gauge on it. We're gonna get our rivet into place. And now we've got, make sure we're set there. Now, just make sure we are nice and snug. Looking very good there. And that is a beautiful Emberwood pipe rocker. And let's put our pipe in there and see how it looks. That is beautiful. Look at that, it's snug. If I lift on it, it comes out, but it's not going to go anywhere. And that is very nice Emberwood. All right, thank you for joining me, and just remember, adventure through dependability.